away from me. She's crazy.
Minimum wage more than doubles, then my wage needs more than double as well. And some people in my comment section were like, no, that's not how it works. That's exactly how it works. In Texas, the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. I make $18 an hour. That is 2.5 times the minimum wage. That means my employer believes that my knowledge and my skills are worth 2.5 times somebody who is just entering the workforce. And in order to compensate me for my skill set and my knowledge, that would mean my employer would have to pay me $37.50 an hour. Keeping my wage where it's at, if the minimum wage did go up to $15 an hour, would actually decrease my value, which would mean all the years of my hard work and years of knowledge that I gathered would only be worth 20% more than somebody just entering the workforce. And if that were to come to pass, that would ensure that we would no longer have skilled workers. Because what would be the point of busting your ass and gaining all the knowledge you can when you can go to McDonald's making pretty much the same wage? Eat a dick. I made a video stating that if the minimum wage more than doubles, then my wage needs more than double as well. And
okay, so his first point, if minimum wage more than doubles, then his wage should more than double too. You know, I can't really argue with that. I mean, the point is worker solidarity. It'll never happen. Your wages will never increase if the lower wages don't increase. Okay, it all kind of works together. That's the way it works. There would be pressure at your job for them to increase your wages if at the low end the wages have been increased. So, but as long as we have this attitude of, those guys shouldn't get it or whatever because they don't have the skills that I have or whatever, they shouldn't be getting paid anywhere close to what I get paid, then that it's divide and conquer. You have the workers not having solidarity. It gives the employers or the corporations the power to have a low pressure or a downward pressure on the wages.
And some people in my comment section were like, no, that's not how it works. That's exactly how it works.
No, that's
in
not
Texas,
how it works.
the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. I make $18 an hour. That is 2.5 times the minimum wage. That means
so $7.25 an hour. That hasn't changed since like the 90s. And so your argument is that, $7.25 an hour versus my $18 an hour. So, but you're okay with these people getting paid $7.25 an hour? Like, as long as you're making more or whatever, you feel like you have your skills or whatever, and you're making more. So, $7.25 an hour is a fair wage in 2024 for whatever damn job,
means my employer believes that my knowledge and my skills are worth 2.5 times somebody who's just entering the workforce.
So, and a lot of these people who are getting paid $7.25 or minimum wage or whatever, it doesn't mean that they just entered the workforce. It also doesn't mean that they don't have skills, certain skills they don't have as far as selling themselves to get more money, you know what I mean? Like, but not having skills is not necessarily the case. And just entering the workforce is not necessarily the case. In any case, no one should be getting paid $7.25 in 2024. With the cost of living the way that it is and inflation, it's not matching up. You can't live with that.
And in order to compensate me for my skill set and my knowledge, that would mean my employer would have to pay me $37.50 an hour.
Well, maybe they should, bro.
Keeping my wage where it's at, if the minimum wage did go up to $15 an hour, would actually decrease my value.
It does not decrease your value. That somebody, where do they get this idea? This is like a hateful ass, envious ass freaking attitude right here where, I'm devalued based on what some random person that I don't know is getting paid. Like, what they getting paid? Why do you care what they're getting paid? Like, if nobody had told you those people were getting paid, would your labor be devalued? Like, just the knowledge that these people are getting paid this amount, you feel that you've been devalued. Like, come on, man, get all the way the F out of here. Like, there's no logic in that way of thinking.
which would mean all the years of my hard work and years of knowledge that I gathered would only be worth 20% more than somebody just entering the workforce.
Your logic is really messed up there. Again, like all the labor, your job isn't paying you enough. Then that's where the focus needs, and you need to have solidarity with these other people so that their wages can go up and your wages can go up too. You know, all the years that you've done to gain the skills that you've done, they should be paying you more than if you're bringing value to their company, and they only feel like you're worth $18, and then you measure it by how much more you're making over the minimum wage. The minimum wage is the bare minimum that any company can legally pay people. If there wasn't a law, then these people would pay people less than that. Okay, so that is not the proper rubric that you want to measure your success or your value on, compared to what the base bottom pay is.
And if that were to come to pass, that would ensure that we would no longer have skilled workers, because
we'll no longer have, that's a huge stretch right there. We'll no longer have skilled workers because they're paying people $20 an hour to work fast food restaurants. So all the skilled labor people are just gonna quit their jobs? They're just gonna go home or they're gonna go all work at McDonald's. I guess that's what you're insinuating. Like, there's no logic in that thinking at all. Like, well, that is the whole doom and gloom, how people go to the extreme all the time. It's kind of like when they say Trump's gonna get elected, then it's gonna be the end of the world. Like, the world's gonna come to an end if Trump gets elected. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see that. I guess it could be true, just like, all labor, no more skilled labor. I guess it could be true. It's just the chances of that actually being the case is like slim to none, buddy. Like, you're going to need skilled labor regardless of the pay of some fast food worker. Come on. I know these kinds of arguments make sense in people's mind from the jump, but they don't spend a moment thinking about it. It's just like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. No, it doesn't. It's not adding up. There's no math to support this.
Because what would be the point of busting your ass and gaining all the knowledge you can when you can go to McDonald's making pretty much the same wage? Eat a dick.
So he's like, there's no point in busting your ass and gaining skills if you could just go and make $20. Like, how many people you think want to just make $20? You know what I mean? Even $20 is not really enough to live, especially not comfortably. You know what I mean? How much is your insurance going to come out of that? How much taxes are going to come out of that? With the rising cost of groceries, basic utilities, lights, rent, car note or whatever, how much you're going to have left over that after that? How nice of an apartment can you get with that? How nice of a car? Can you buy a car with that? Come on, man.
Looks like we got us another hit.
What is NLRB?